Hello friends, Namaskar, this is Sanjay. The CTET December 2021 examination was conducted from the 16th of December of 2021 till the 21st of January of 2022 in an online mode. And there are 23 different versions of paper 1 that we can solve from this specific exam. In today's video, we will solve the 30 maths questions from the paper 1 that was conducted on the 4th of January of 2022. Since we will be solving 30 questions from all these 23 papers for each subject. So in this series, we will be solving 690 questions per subject. And all these videos are available both in English and Hindi versions on our channel. So let's get started. A square has a boundary of 16 centimeter. From each of the four corners of the square, a small square of side 1 centimeter is cut off. What will be the length of the boundary of the remaining figure? Now, if the boundary of the original square is 16 centimeter, it means that each of the sides is 4 centimeters, right? And if you cut off a smaller square of 1 centimeter into 1 centimeter, right, from each of the four corners, it means that you are removing 1 centimeter from this side and 1 centimeter from this side of each corner. But you are also introducing 1 centimeter and 1 centimeter into the boundary. Therefore, the net effect will be 0. So, the original boundary of the square was 16 centimeter, and after you cut these four smaller square of 1 centimeter into 1 centimeter from each corner, it will still remain 16 centimeter itself. So, that is the correct answer. What will come in the blank? 2/3 plus what is 11/12. Now, to solve this, we should first write it down in the form of a proper equation. So 2/3 is nothing but 2/3 plus something is equal to 11/12. Now, the easiest way of solving this is if we convert 2/3 into the same denominator, that is into 12, then we'll be able to identify what should come here in the question mark. So to convert 3 into 12, we just have to multiply this by 4. Which means that we have to multiply the numerator also by 4. So 2/3 is nothing but 8/12. So 8/12 plus something is equal to 11/12. And here we know that 11 minus 8, it should be 3 here. Therefore 3/12. The correct answer should be 3/12, which is nothing but 3/12. On her birthday, Merlin's mother gave her a packet of toffees to share with her friends. Merlin gave 2/7 to Aditi, 1/6 to Amol, 2/5 to Farhan and 1/7 to Jerry. If she is left with only 2 toffees, how many toffees were there in the packet? So now let the original number of toffees in the packet be x. So how many did she give away? She gave away 2/7. So x into 2/7. She gave away 1/6. Therefore x into 1/6. Then she gave away 2/5. So x into 2/5 minus she gave away 1/7. So x into 1/7. And how many was she left with? She was left with 2 toffees. Now let's simplify this equation. So this will become x, and since there is x in all these 4 terms, let's get it outside. So if we get minus x outside, then we will get 2/7 plus 1/6 plus 2/5 and plus 1/7 is equal to 2. So now we have to take the LCM of these 4 fractions. Since 7 is repeated, so we just have to multiply 7 into 6 into 5 to get the LCM. And if we multiply these 3, 7 into 6 into 5, we get 210. Therefore, x minus x into 210, and since 7 30s are, so it will become 60 plus 6 35s are, therefore 35 plus 5 42s are, therefore this will become 84 plus 7 3s are, therefore 30, right, is equal to 2. Now x minus x into, if we add up all of this, we'll get 209/210 is equal to 2. Now we take x on the other side, so it will become x into 209/210 10 is equal to x minus 2. Now, if we were to remove this 210, we just have to multiply both the sides with 210 and that will go away. Therefore, x into 209 is equal to x into 210 minus 2 into 210. Therefore, because the 210 on this side would get cancelled, therefore we are just left with 209 here. Right? So we know that x into 209 is equal to x into 2010 minus 420. Now if we look at these two, right, the difference between these two is just x. Therefore x minus 420 is equal to 0. Therefore x is equal to 420. Therefore the original number of toffees was 420. A shopkeeper has some eggs. He wants to put them in trays which can exactly have 12 eggs. He filled 9 trays with eggs and left with 5 eggs. How many more eggs does he need so that no egg is left out after completing the 10th tray? Now, in some questions, there is a lot of information given. So the trick is to ignore the information that is not required. For example, we know that each tray can contain 12 eggs. So the capacity of each tray is 12. That is important. He filled 9 trays. This is not important because what he has already filled, we can ignore that, right? He's left with 5 eggs. So, which means that if the capacity of the tray is 12 eggs and he is left with 5 eggs, then the balance number of eggs that he requires to fill the next tray would be 12 minus 5, that is 7. So he just needs 7 more eggs to fill the 10th tray. That's it. So the answer is 7. Savita went to the ATM to withdraw some money. She got 5 notes of rupees 2000. So 5 notes of 2000 rupees. 4 notes of 500 rupees. So 4 notes of 500 rupees. And 9 notes of 100 rupees. 9 notes of 100 rupees. So how much did she get from the ATM? It is 12,900 rupees. On counting, she found that 1 note of 2000 and 1 note of 100 are less in the whole amount. So what is the shortage amount? 1 note of 2000 and 1 note of 100. So 2100 is the shortage. So how much amount did she enter for withdrawal? So she went to the ATM and the amount that she entered was 12,900 plus 2,100. That is 15,000. So she wanted to withdraw 15,000 rupees, but she got only 12,900 rupees and the shortage is 2,100. So here, what is the total amount that she entered for withdrawal? That is 15,000. So answer is 15,000. Anu bought 2 kilos 500 grams of Laddu, 3 kilos 250 grams of Jalebi and 4 kilos of Rasgullas from a sweet shop. The shopkeeper packed everything together in boxes with a maximum capacity of 750 grams. How many boxes are required to pack all the items? So since the capacity of the box is given in grams, right, we have to convert all of these other quantities also into grams. So 2 kgs 500 grams is nothing but 2500 grams and 3 kgs 250 grams is 3250 grams and 4 kilos is 4000 grams. So if we add all of this together, we get 9750 grams. So now what is the capacity of the boxes into which these sweets are to be packed? That is 750 grams per box. So if we divide this 9750 by 750, we should get the answer. So 0, 0 cancel. So 75 ones and 75 12s is 900. So 75 13s is 975. So it will be 13. So the shopkeeper will need 13 boxes to fill all these sweets. Therefore the answer is 13. 4 traffic lights of a crossroad change after 30 seconds, 45 seconds, 1 minute and 75 seconds respectively. If these lights changed simultaneously at 1:35 p.m., then they will change simultaneously. That is, they will change together again at what time? So the simplest way to solve this problem is to take a LCM of these 4 numbers, 30 seconds, 45 seconds, 1 minute, which is 60 seconds and 75 seconds. So let's take the LCM of 30, 45, 60 and 75. Let's first do it with 5. 5 6 are 30, 5 9s are 5 12, 5 15. Next, let us do it with 3. 3 2s are 6, 3 3s are 9, 3 4s are 12, 3 5s are 15. Next, let us do it with 2. 2 1s are 2, 3, 2 2s are 4 and 5. Now since we have all prime numbers, let's just multiply all of these numbers together and we will get the LCM. So if we multiply 5 into 3 into 2 into 1 into 3 into 2 into 5, we will get 900. So 900 is the LCM of these 4 numbers. Now 900 is in seconds. So we have to convert it into minutes. So 900 divided by 60. Right? So 3 2s are 6, 3 3s are 9, 0, 2 1s are 2, 15. So it will be 15 minutes. So 900 seconds is 15 minutes. Now the last time the lights changed simultaneously was at 1:35. So it is 1:35. So let's add this 15 minutes to 1:35. Right? So we will get 1:50. So 1:50 PM is the time when all of these 4 lights will change simultaneously again. Rae and Reena have arranged bricks horizontally one above the another. If the length, width and height of each brick are 6, 3 and 3 inches respectively, then how many rows of the bricks are required to create a 3.5 meter wall? So the bricks are arranged horizontally like this, and the height of each brick is 3 inches. So we have to reach a height of 3.5 meters. So how many bricks are required to reach 3.5 meters? The height of the wall is actually given in meters, whereas the height of the bricks is given in inches. So we have to convert either of them into the same measurement so that we can do the calculation. So let's convert this 3.5 meters into inches. So now 1 meter is roughly is equal to 39.4 inches. Therefore, 3.5 meters will be equal to 39.4 into 3.5. So that will be approximately 138 inches. So 3.5 meters is roughly equal to 138 inches. Now, since the height of each brick is 3 inches, so we have to divide this 138 by 3. So we'll get 3 1s are 3 4s are 12, 3 6 are 18. So 46. Therefore, we will need 46 such bricks to reach a height of 3.5 meters. So the answer is 46. Rama reads the following details on a pack before throwing it on 3rd July 2021. The date of packing was 10th of January of 2021 and the best before was 180 days from the date of packing. Which of the following statements is correct? So now 180 days is 6 months, right? So if the date of packing was 10th of January of 2021, then 6 months from here is February, March, April, May, June, July, right? So roughly around the 10th of July of 2021, that would be the expiry date of the pack. Now, she threw the pack on 3rd of July 2021, which means that she threw it before the expiry date because the expiry date would be around the 10th of July. So she threw it on 3rd of July. So which means that she threw it at least 7 days before the expiry date. So she still would have had 7 days to use the packet. So now let us read the statements. The first one is she should throw the packet as the date of expiry has already been crossed. This is incorrect because she threw the packet on 3rd July and the packet would have expired on 10th July. So the date of expiry has not crossed, right? So this is incorrect. Next, she can still use the packet for almost 1 week. This is correct because today is 3rd, or the date on which she threw that packet is 3rd, and she could have used it for 1 more week till the 10th of July. Therefore, she could have still used the packet for 1 more week. Therefore, this is the correct answer. Next one, she can wait for another 6 months as it will get expired after 180 days. Now 180 days is from the date of packing, which is 10th of January of 2021. Therefore, the expiry date as we calculated would have been the 10th of July. So she does not have another 6 months. Therefore, this statement is incorrect. Next, the packet got expired on 10th of June of 2021. She would have to throw it. Now this is also incorrect because the packet would have expired in 10th of July and not June. Therefore, this statement is incorrect. Therefore, she could have still used the packet for 1 more week. That is 7 more days, and that is the correct answer. A teacher gave some objects to children that include a matchbox, a ball, a book, a steel glass and a rope. She asked them to identify the objects which have the most number of corners. Which of the following statements is correct in the above situation? Now first thing is, look at all these objects and see which of them have corners in the first place. Right? A matchbox definitely has corners. A ball does not have any corners. A book has corners. A steel glass does not have any corners. A rope will not have any corners. Therefore, only the matchbox and the book will have corners. And both of them are fairly similar shapes, right? Because they have edges, they have corners, and they are cuboid in shape. Right? So now look at the answer choices. The first one says rope should be selected as it is longest among the given objects. Now we are not trying to find the longest object. We are trying to find the object which has the most number of corners. So rope is not an answer. Then book should be selected as it has more number of corners than the matchbox. This is also incorrect because a book and a matchbox both are very similar shapes, right? And they have equal number of corners and edges, right? Therefore, book and matchbox are very similar. So book does not have more number of corners than a matchbox. Therefore, this option is incorrect. Next, matchbox and book should be related as both of them can be classified in the same category of objects having edge, faces and corners. This is correct because both of them are cuboids and both of them are similar in nature. And ball should be selected as it has infinite corners. No, ball does not have any corners. Therefore, this can be discarded. Therefore, option 3 is the best answer among the given statements. A closed shape made up of 3 or more than 3 line segments is called what? If you make a closed shape with 3 line segments, right, that will be a triangle. If you make a closed shape with more than 3 line segments, for example, we use 4 line segments, then it can be a square or a rectangle. So now a triangle is the simplest polygon, right? And a polygon which has 4 line segments can be a square or a rectangle. Therefore, the answer here is polygon. It could have been a triangle if the closed shape was made up only with 3 line segments. But here we are being asked 3 or more than 3 line segments. Therefore, the answer is polygon. The temperature of a city is 23.5 degrees centigrade at 9 p.m. and the temperature is dropping at the rate of 0.7 degree every hour after that. Then what time will the temperature be at 17.2 degrees centigrade? So what is the current temperature? The current temperature is 23.5 degrees centigrade. And what is the target temperature? It is 17.2 degrees centigrade. So what is the difference? It is 6.3 degrees. So now the temperature is dropping at the rate of 0.7 degrees every hour. Therefore, if we divide this 6.3 degrees with 0.7, then we'll get the answer as to how many hours will it take for the temperature to drop to 17.2 degrees. So for the sake of simplicity, if we just multiply this with 10 and this with 10, we get 63 and 7. So if we divide 63 with 7, we'll get 9. Therefore, it will take 9 hours for the temperature to drop to 17.2 degrees centigrade. So what is the current time? The current time is 9 p.m. So 9 p.m. plus 9 hours. So that will be 6 a.m. So the correct answer here is 6 a.m. The current temperature is 23.5 degrees centigrade at 9 p.m. and it will continue to drop at the rate of 0.7 degrees centigrade every hour. So it will reach 17.2 degrees centigrade at 6 a.m. in the morning. Which of the following statements is true for the mean and median of the scores given below? So to identify which of these statements is correct, we just have to calculate the mean and the median for this set of numbers. So first let us calculate the median. So the median will be the centermost from among the batch. However, here we have a even number of numbers. In the sense, if it was odd number, we could have easily identified the median. But since we have an even number, we just have to take one additional step, right? So the first thing anyway, we have to arrange these numbers in an increasing order. So it will be 1, 1, and then there will be 8, then 13, 15, 15, 20, and 23. So now, when we have arranged this, the number at the exact center, which would have come here, is the median, right? So there are two ways of doing it. One is we see 4 numbers from here and 4 numbers from here, and we take the one which comes exactly between the two numbers that we have identified. Or we can add 13 and 15 and divide it by 2. In any case, the number that comes between 13 and 15 is 14. So 14 is the median here. So the median is equal to 14. Now let us calculate the mean. Mean is nothing but the average. So if we add all of these numbers, right, then we will get 96. So 96 divided by 8, because we have 8 numbers here, right? So divided by 8. 8 ones are 8, 1, 6, 8 twos are 16. So which means that the mean of this set of numbers is 12. Now let us see the statements. Mean is greater than the median. No, mean is actually smaller than the median. Therefore this statement is incorrect. Next, median is greater than the mean. This statement is correct because 14 is greater than 12. So this is a true statement. Then both mean and median are equal. This is incorrect because 14 and 12 are not equal. And median cannot be determined as there was even number of scores. We can determine the median even if there are an even number of scores by doing the following. We can identify the number that comes between the two ending numbers, or we can just add these two numbers and divide them by 2, and we were able to calculate the median here. Therefore, this statement is also incorrect. So only one among these is correct, that is that the median is greater than the mean. The angles of rotation or the rotational symmetry of an equilateral triangle are what? Now, what is this rotational symmetry? Well, if we take an equilateral triangle, then how many degrees do we have to rotate it for the appearance to be same? Well, an equilateral triangle means that all the 3 sides are equal, right? And all the angles are equal. Therefore, we have to move it in 3 steps so that it can rotate a full circle and the appearance will not change. Let us look at this example. If we have a equilateral triangle like this, right? So initially point A is here. So if we turn it so that point A comes here, then the appearance of the triangle will not change. So how much do we have to turn for A point here to come to this place? So if you look at it, it is 360 degree, which is a full circle, divided by 3, because it has 3 angles. Divided by 3 is equal to 120. So if we rotate it 120 degrees, A will come here, but the appearance of the triangle will not change. So the first step is 120 degrees. So similarly, if we have to move point A from here to here, then we again have to move it 120 degrees. And similarly, if we have to move point A from here to here, again we have to move it, rotate it 120 degrees. So now in each step, we are rotating it by 120 degrees. Now if we look at it, the first step was 120 degrees. The second step was 120 plus 120, that is equal to 240 degrees. And the third step was 240 degrees plus 120 degrees, that is 360 degrees. So it made a full circle, that is 360 degrees in 3 steps. And therefore the rotational symmetry of this equilateral triangle is 120 degrees, 240 degrees and 360 degrees. So the answer here is 120, 240 and 360. Identify the next term in the given pattern. So this is a simple pattern recognition question. Now, if you look at all the four options that are given here, the first one has A here, then B, then C, then D. Therefore, the last character in this next set, right, the next term, should be E. Therefore, when we look at the answer choices, we can eliminate 3 and 4 because they end with V and it should end with E here. Next, if you look at it, start from here, it is W, X, Y and Z, which means that the character here, right, should be the alphabet that comes before W, that would be V. And if you see here, both of these options have V, E. Therefore, we are on the right track. Next, if you look at the numbers, the first one is 1 and then they've added 3 to it to make it 4. Then they've added 5 to it to make it 9. Then they've added 7 to it to make it 16, which means that these are odd numbers, right? Consecutive odd numbers. Therefore, we have to add 9 and make it the next number. So 16 plus 9 is 25. So the answer will be 25 VE. So 25 VE is the correct answer. Which of the following is not a stage or level of Van Heel's theory of geometrical reasoning? When we look at Van Heel's levels of geometrical reasoning, the first is visual, then it is analysis, then abstraction, then deduction, which includes axiomatic. Axioms are nothing but theorems. So deduction means attaining logical reasoning ability to prove theorems deductively. So axioms are nothing but theorems. So you have to remember that axiomatic comes under deduction. Then there is rigor. Right? So this table is very important. Please go through the details in this table because you will frequently get questions based on Van Heel's theory of geometrical reasoning. Now coming back to the options, visualization is here, then concrete operation is not in this list, analysis is here, and axiomatic comes under deduction. Therefore, which of the following is not a stage of Van Heel's theory? That is concrete operation. Continuous and comprehensive evaluation in mathematics would include which of the following? Now in the CDP syllabus videos, I have discussed what is this continuous and comprehensive evaluation, and we have seen that if evaluation is done comprehensively, right, that is you evaluate each student in detail, in depth, right, and you do it continuously, that is it is not just a one-time test or a one-time assessment. This is done throughout the year as part of the teaching learning process. So if evaluation is comprehensive, that is in detail, and continuous, that is it happens throughout the teaching learning process, so then it is called continuous and comprehensive evaluation. So whether it is in mathematics, whether it is in CDP, or whether it is in any other subject, the principles of continuous and comprehensive evaluation are same. So when we look at the given options and read through them, right, the second option says only the collective progress of the class in terms of percentage of students failed or passed, right, which means that you are not doing in-depth assessment of each child. You are just giving everybody a test and you are just doing an analysis across the class saying that just how many students passed and how many students failed. So this is not comprehensive. And if you are just conducting a test to see how many students passed and failed, then it is not continuous as well. Therefore, B is not something that is part of continuous and comprehensive evaluation. If B is not continuous and comprehensive evaluation, then look at the answer options. The first one has B in it, so this can be eliminated. The second one has B in it, this can also be eliminated. The last one says only B, this also can be eliminated. So the correct answer has to be A and C. Now if you read the options, option A says detailed feedback on the student's conceptual understanding. That is nothing but comprehensive. And progress of the students throughout the year, right, that is nothing but continuous, right? So A and C are part of continuous and comprehensive evaluation. Which of the following statements is not true about mapping in mathematics? You would have seen that children are often given this activity or task to create maps. So we have to identify which of the statements is not true about this activity of mapping or creating maps, and especially creating maps in mathematics classes. Now, mapping forms the basis for many topics in higher mathematics. True, because if you look at subjects, or if you look at topics like trigonometry, right? Mapping is something which is used in trigonometry. Therefore, mapping is the basis for many topics in higher mathematics. So this is a correct statement. Next, mapping strengthens spatial thinking. This is true because you are trying to think in 2 dimensions or 3 dimensions. Therefore, spatial thinking is definitely strengthened by mapping. Then mapping promotes proportional thinking. This is also correct because when you are drawing a map, you'll say the house is this much, and you will create a road saying that the road is this wide as compared to the house, and you look at the size of the school and you'll say my school is this much, whereas my house is only this much. So you are thinking about things in a proportional manner as to what is their size or how they compare. So mapping promotes proportional thinking is also a correct statement. Now the last one says mapping only includes drawing a map of one's surroundings. This is incorrect because if you look at the type of mapping activities that are given to children, they can create maps of their classroom, they can create maps of how they travel from school to house, they can create maps of how they go to the market. So mapping can include making drawings of different things, not just one's immediate surroundings. Therefore, this statement is incorrect and it is not true. Which of the following is a close-ended question? Now, you just have to remember what is an open-ended question, what is a close-ended question. If a question has only one answer, right, that is a close-ended question. If a question can have many correct answers, then that is a open-ended question. So when we look at the given options, the first one says list 5 3-digit numbers that have the digit 5 at the tens place. So it can be 150, 151, 152, 153. So you can continue this, or it can be 250, 251, 252, 253. So you can continue this series as well. So if you have to list just 5 3-digit numbers, here you can see that we have lot of correct answers. Therefore, this is a open-ended question because there can be any 5 that you can choose from this and they will be correct because they all have digit 5 in the tens place. So this is open-ended. Next, draw a shape where the sum of all the sides is 36 centimeter. So here you can draw a square, you can draw a rectangle, you can draw a trapezium. So you can draw any number of shapes where the sum of all the sides is 36 centimeters. So this also has multiple correct answers. So this is also open-ended. Next, write 5 whole numbers between 178 and 184. Now if you look at it, 178 is the lower limit and 184 is the upper limit. So what are the numbers that come between this? 179, 180, 181, 182, 183. So which means that write 5 whole numbers from between 178 to 184. These are the only whole numbers which are there, that is 179 to 183. So this is a close-ended question because there is only one possible answer. And the last one, list 2 sets of 5 numbers that have a sum of 50. So you can list any set of numbers where both of them add up to 50. So this also has multiple correct answers. So this is also open-ended. So here we have identified that option C is close-ended because it has only one possible correct answer. Therefore, this is a close-ended question. Which of the following is not a type or utility of numbers? Now, there is a specific article on Wikipedia where there are different types of numbers that are mentioned, and there is a brief explanation there. So you should go to Wikipedia, find this article which says list of types of numbers and read that article in full because that gives you an overview of all the different types and utilities of numbers. Now here, cardinal numbers, right? Cardinal numbers means numbers which are used for counting. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So if you are counting something, that is cardinal number. Next, ordinal numbers means you are specifying the order. That is, I came first in class, right? Or I came second in class, or I came 10th in class. So if you are specifying the order or the rank, that is ordinal number. And if the number is being used as a name, right? So that is nominal number. For example, if you talk about section 420, right? So now 420 is the name given to a specific section. Therefore, that is the name or the nominal number. Now, aesthetic numbers is not a type or utility of numbers, and cardinal, ordinal and nominal are a type or a utility of number. Therefore, here which of the following is not a type or utility? That is option 3. While teaching about measurement of length, a teacher asks the students to measure their table using handspans and paper clips instead of measuring directly by a scale. Which is the most appropriate reason during this activity? Now, here you have to pay attention to the most appropriate reason. Right? The reason why this is specifically mentioned is that if you read through the answer choices, you might see that there are more than one correct answers, right? More than one correct statements. So you have to select the most appropriate or the strongest reason, and that will be the correct answer. Just because a statement is correct, it cannot be the correct answer. Right? Now, for example, the first one says she wants to engage students in hands-on activity because it is interesting for students. Maybe because students are measuring the table using their hands and paper clips, so it can be a fun activity, it can be an interesting activity, but this cannot be the strongest reason or the most appropriate reason. Then she wants her students to learn how to measure length correctly using paper clips. Now this is a completely incorrect statement because paper clips can be small, paper clips can be big. There can be 1 centimeter paper clips, there can be 5 centimeter paper clips. So since paper clips are not standardized, how can you measure length correctly using paper clips? Therefore, this statement is incorrect. Next, she wants her students to practice old ways of measurement using objects. Now, we are not trying to teach history here, right? We are not trying to teach children about how measurement was being done using objects in olden days. So this is incorrect. The last one says she wants students to understand the need for standard units for measurement. Now this is the most appropriate and the best answer, because if a child's hands are small, right, then maybe the length of that bench, right, maybe 10 hands for one child. If a child has bigger hands, for that child the length of the bench may be 8 hands, or for some other child it may be 7 hands. So that way, if you use hands or non-standardized paper clips, right, to measure the bench, then everyone will get a different measurement, right? So there is a need for standard units for measurement. If we use a scale and if we measure in terms of length in centimeters or inches, then we are using a standard unit to measure. And if you measure with a scale, you'll get the same length. If I measure with the scale, I'll also get the same length, because we are using standardized units rather than unstandard units like hands or paper clips. So this is the best answer here. A primary school mathematics teacher asked the students to take out the ruler as she was going to teach the topic on length measurement. Students got confused as how can they take out a king or a queen, because such words are called homonyms. How can teachers address this challenge in the classroom? Now, there are two different articles, right, or two different concepts that we are talking about. One is ruler as in a scale, and the other is ruler as the person who's ruling, that can be a king or a queen. So they sound similar, they are homonyms, but depending on the context, their meaning is completely different, even though their spelling is also same, right? So here we are looking at which of these is the best way in which the teacher can tackle such a situation where students are misidentifying what you are trying to say, right? So is it by asking the English language teacher to teach that word? No. In the mathematics class, you have to address it. Therefore, this cannot be the correct answer. Next, teacher should prepare a list of such words with their meanings and ask them to memorize. Now, memorization, right, is something that is strictly banned or strictly not recommended as per the National Curriculum Framework and the NEP. Therefore, when you see memorize, then that is an incorrect option. Therefore, this is incorrect. Then teacher should ignore this as the students will eventually learn. Now, no, you should not ignore. You have to clarify that doubt there itself, and you have to take the opportunity to teach something to the students. So ignoring cannot be the correct answer, which leaves us with one option. Teacher should draw attention of the students to the specific meaning being used in the mathematical context whenever such words are appearing in teaching. So as I said, depending on the context, the same word with the same spelling can mean two different things. So the teacher has to teach the specific meaning in that context, that is the mathematical context, when such word are appearing. So this is the correct answer. That is, when the teacher is teaching this particular lesson, when she says ruler and students ask her, why are you talking about a king or a queen? Then she has to explain, no, ruler means a scale, right? Therefore, she is teaching what is the specific meaning of this word in that context of that lesson and in the context of mathematics. So option 2 is the correct answer. A class 3 teacher reads out the following problem to her students. If I subtract 2 ones from 2 tens, what will be the answer? So 2 tens is 10 plus 10, that is 20, and 2 ones is 1 plus 1, that is 2. So if you subtract 2 ones from 2 tens, then you will get 18. Right? So the answer should be 18. So one of the students responded that the answer is 0. Which of the following statement is correct in the above context? Now the first one is the answer given by the student is correct. Now the answer should be 18. The student mentioned 0. So this is not a correct statement. Next, teacher should give 10 similar problems to practice. So here the problem is that children have not understood the concept of 2 ones and 2 tens, right? There is a confusion about the place value and face value of numbers, right? So if you say teacher should give 10 similar problems to practice, then they will keep repeating the same mistake. So by making them practice without actually clearing their doubt or clarifying the concept of place value and face value, if you give them more problems to practice, they will keep repeating the same mistake. So this cannot be an answer. Then teacher should ignore the response to the student and she give the right answer and move on to the next problem. Now ignore is a keyword which tells you that this statement is incorrect, because if the teacher is ignoring the mistakes that the students are making, then that is not a correct thing to do. Therefore ignore tells us that the statement is incorrect. So only statement 2 is remaining. This says teacher should use concrete materials to strengthen the concept of place value in the student. So teacher should explain the concept of place value and face value, and only then the students will understand the basic concepts and they will be able to solve problems in the future. Therefore teacher should use concrete materials to strengthen the concepts. Therefore this is a correct answer. While planning a lesson on the concept of addition of fractions, a teacher is using the activity of rectangular strip folding. The above activity is an example of which of the following? Now here there is a clue which says the teacher was still planning a lesson on the concept of addition. So now if you look at the stages of this teaching learning process, first there is pre-content activity. This is where you plan how the lesson is going to be taught, what are the things that you are going to use. So you are making a plan for delivering the content. Then you deliver the content. So this is the content activity. This is where the actual teaching and learning process is happening, right? And then comes the post content activity, and this is where you are doing the assessment to see how well this teaching and learning or the content activities happened. So first you plan, then you deliver the content, and then you assess how the teaching learning has happened. So now if you look at this, we are talking about planning a lesson. So the teacher is still in the planning phase. So the planning phase is nothing but the pre-content activity, because this is pre-content, this is content, and this is post-content, right? So here we are talking about planning, which is in the pre-content activity. So the correct answer is pre-content. Which one of the following is the most important characteristic of a good mathematics textbook at a primary level, right? So now here you have to pay attention to this keywords, that is most important characteristic, which means that there can be more than one statements which are correct. So we have to identify the most important among the correct statements. Now the first one is concepts should be introduced through contexts. This is a correct statement, because if you just tell children the concept of say 3 plus 4 or 4 plus 5 or 6 plus 6, so then you're just teaching some random numbers and some mathematical operations, right? So if you tell them that, okay, you have 6 chocolates and your friend gives you 6 more chocolates. Now how many chocolates do you have? So now you are teaching the concept of 6 plus 6, but you are teaching it in a context in which children can understand. Therefore, concepts should be introduced through contexts and examples which children can relate to. Right? Therefore, this is the correct statement. Next, it should only contain numerous practice questions. Now, this is incorrect because it should have an adequate number of practice questions, but it should not only contain numerous practice questions. Therefore, this is incorrect. Next, it should be attractive and colorful. This is also a correct statement because if the book for primary level students is dull and black and without any pictures, then they will not be interested, they'll get bored. So therefore, the book also has to be attractive and colorful. So this is also a correct statement. Then, concept should be introduced through formal algorithms. No, this is incorrect because formal algorithms, that is formal mathematical calculations, so this should come at a later stage once children are familiar with the basics. Right? Therefore, if you introduce the concepts through these algorithms or formulae, then children are not going to understand anything, right? Because as soon as you start a class, instead of teaching them, you have 3 apples, your friend gives you 3 more apples, how many apples do you have? So 3 plus 3 is equal to 6. Instead of teaching it like that, if you directly go into okay, to add you should put a plus and 3 plus 3 is equal to 6. So if you go into the formal algorithms, then children will not be able to understand. Therefore, this is incorrect. So now you have 2 possible correct statements. So here we have to identify the most important, and the most important between these two, the book should be attractive and colorful, yes, but concepts should be introduced through context, through relevant examples, relevant situations. That is the most important characteristic. Therefore, option A is correct. The National Curriculum Framework, that is the NCF 2005, considers that mathematics involves a certain way of thinking and reasoning. That vision, that is to develop or encourage that certain way of thinking and reasoning, that is mathematical thinking and reasoning. Right? How can that vision be realized? So now, if you look at all the options and read through them, you'll see that giving special coaching to students, this is incorrect. We are not talking about getting students to an IIT or an IIM, right? We are just trying to see so that they develop that mathematical thinking and reasoning in all aspects of life, in their day-to-day activities. Therefore, special coaching is not going to help. Next, rewriting all the textbooks of mathematics. There is nothing much wrong with many of the textbooks, right? It is just that how you teach using those textbooks, that needs to be changed. It is not the textbooks themselves which are incorrect. Therefore, rewriting all the textbooks may not be a good option. Next, emphasizing on solving problems in the given textbook. Here you are trying to teach the concepts. You are trying to relate what children are learning in classroom to what they are doing in their day-to-day life. Right? Therefore, just solving problems in the given textbooks cannot be a good approach. Now that leaves us with option 2, which says that adopting exploratory approach using of manipulatives connecting concepts to real life and involving students in the discussion. Now, if you are going to involve students in the discussion, they are able to clarify their doubts, they are going to express their thoughts, so teacher can see if they have understood the concepts well, they can learn from each other. So students, if they are discussing something in the classroom, this is definitely good. Next, if you are connecting these concepts to real life. For example, if you are teaching the concept of money in classroom and you tell the students how they can use money in real life or give them some examples of how their parents have used money to buy them things. So you are connecting some concepts to real life. Right? So this is the best way of developing this mathematical thinking and reasoning abilities. Therefore, option 2 is the correct answer. As a mathematics educator, what advice will you give to prospective teachers to improve children's performance in mathematics? Now, when you read through all the options, you see, get children as many books. Well, if you get them lot of books, if their basics, if their fundamentals are not strong enough, then lot of books with lot of practice will not help. Next, advise parents for tutoring children at home. Now, you are talking about improving children's performance in the classroom. So you have to first focus on building the good foundations in the classroom. Only then parents may be able to tutor at home. And plus you can't expect all the parents to be well educated to be able to teach their children mathematics at home. Right? Therefore, if you are going to delegate your responsibility as a teacher to parents, then that is not a correct approach. Next, plan remedial classes for children at the end of the year. That is, special coaching or like extra coaching for students who are not able to pick up the basics. So if you are already planning remedial classes that too for the end of the year, then this is not a good approach. You should not reach a situation where you need remedial classes or extra classes. Right? So this option also is wrong. This which leaves us with only one option, that is option 3, which has to be the correct answer. It says that help children make connections between conceptual and procedural knowledge. This is correct, because if you are teaching the concept of money, if you are able to connect that concept of money to some real life situations, that is procedural knowledge as to how children can use money in their day-to-day life, how their parents use money for different things. So you are helping children make the connection between concepts and real life situations or procedures. Therefore, this is the best way that you can improve children's performance in mathematics. The statement teacher acts as a facilitator, helps students to discover relationships and seek patterns for themselves is most suited with which of the following. Now what is happening here? The teacher is actually acting as a facilitator, and the students are discovering the relationships between maybe concepts and real life activities for themselves. Right? And they are looking at various patterns in what they are learning. Right? So this statement is connected with which of the following. Now, if we read a little more into this statement, so we can say that students are discovering relationships. For example, you are teaching the concept of money. So children are discovering the relationship between money and toys. They are discovering the relationship between money and shopping, money and essential things like milk, bread. Right? So they are connecting the concepts that you are teaching in the classroom, that is the concept of money, with how things are actually bought and sold in the real world. So they are discovering the relationship between concepts and activities. And they are also seeking a pattern. That is, okay, every time we go to a shop to buy anything, it might be a toy, it might be milk, it might be some other essential articles. So there is a pattern where we are giving some money to the shopkeeper. So they are finding some patterns, and they are doing this by themselves, in the sense the teacher is not giving a demonstration or not conducting some role play and not giving a lecture. The children are learning all this by themselves, and the teacher is just facilitating this learning. Therefore, here we are talking about inductive method, where children discover some concepts, they discover some relationships or patterns, and they start with some examples, and they come to a general observation on the basis of these examples. That is, I go to a shop to buy toys, I have to give money. I go to a shop to buy milk, I have to give money. I go to a shop to buy bread, I have to give money. Therefore, whenever we are trying to get anything from a shop, we have to give money. And this is the concept of using money for buying things. Therefore, from all these examples, you are arriving at a generalized understanding. Right? So this is nothing but the inductive method, and that is the correct answer here. A primary class teacher asks his students to collect data on a number of boys and girls studying in class 5 in their neighborhood. Which of the following is most appropriately describing the purpose of this activity? So here you are asking children to collect some data about how many boys and girls are studying in class 5 in their neighborhood. So now this should give you a clue that you're talking about data here. So the best answer has to be to introduce the concept of data handling. Right? So there is a direct clue here. However, let's also look at the other options. The first one, to make students aware of gender differences in their neighborhood. While doing this activity, while collecting data from their neighborhood, they will get some inputs, or they'll get some thoughts, and they'll probably see that there are more boys or more girls in class 5. So they'll get some gender difference related ideas, but that cannot be the main purpose here. Right? So this is incorrect. Next, to make children familiar with their community. When they are going to all these houses and going to the neighborhood and collecting this data, they will become familiar with their community. So that is an outcome of the activity, but that cannot be the main purpose of this activity. Therefore, this is also incorrect. And to give holiday homework to students. Now, this is definitely not a correct answer, so ignore this. So now here, to introduce the topic of data handling, because first students will collect this data, and then they will add the data from different houses to arrive at a sum total. and you can teach them how to analyze the data or how to use the data to get some information out of it. So you are introducing the concept of data handling by first asking students or children to collect some data. So option 2 is the best answer. Which of the following is not one of the steps of problem solving given by Polya? Well, if you look at the steps in Polya's list, then the first step is to understand the problem. Because if you don't understand the problem, you can't even proceed. Right? After understanding the problem, you will devise a plan on how to solve that problem. Right? And then you will execute that plan, or you will carry out that plan. And after that, you will revise and extend. This is also called reflection or looking back. Right? So if you look at all of these options, understanding the problem is the first step. So this cannot be the answer. Devising a plan is the second step. So this cannot be the answer. Then carry out the plan, that is execution, is also here. So this cannot be the answer. So only recreate the plan is not in this list. Therefore, not is what we have to identify. So option 3 is the correct answer. And with that, we have solved the 30 questions in this question paper. If you have any questions or feedback, please put them in the comment section below. And please do give us a like and subscribe to this channel, and share this video with your other friends who are preparing for similar exams. So I will see you again in the next video where we will solve a few more questions from various previous question papers. So till then, take care, stay safe.